Yep, all good.
Okay, right.
Right?
Perfect.
Okay, Paul, yeah.
Just rock and roll in with you. Welcome to the NI Golf Channel podcast, Zoom edition, quarantined 2020. So hopefully this works. So today we have Morris J. Hello, Morris J.
Hello, everybody. How are you from here in HQ?
And we also have Chris Selfridge for Belfast. Hi, Chris.
Hello, how you doing?
Very good. Thanks very much for joining us, Chris.
Yeah,
So
no problem.
we'll run through things. As I said, we only have about 30 minutes of this. Hopefully it works. Everybody kind of needs their fix of golf. So here we are today trying to chat about golf. So we have a few things to start off with. The first thing is today obviously is the bad news about the Irish Open going by the wayside like so many tournaments.
Yep.
So Chris, what do you think, from a pro golfer's point of view? What's the season looking like? What are people going to do?
Well, I mean, it's not looking good to start with that, but I think with the Irish Open's concerned, speaking to Hoey, he's on the players committee or whatever, because it's a Rolex event, it will happen this year because there's like rebates and a lot of, the NI Open at Galgorm this year won't go ahead, obviously, and that'll probably just get scrapped and maybe resume next year, no big deal really. But because the Irish Open's a Rolex event, it probably will, well, unless they come up with some scheme or something, it will be rescheduled for September, October or something. So hopefully it still happens, but I mean, everything's up in the air right now.
So will the Rolex events get priority, Chris? You would presume they would. We did pop a wee invite to Simon Ellis there about half an hour ago. Probably can't make it at such short notice, but the Rolex events will probably get priority.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way things are looking at the minute, you could nearly see there being, I'm just using September, October as an example here. Hopefully we get some golf before that, but there could potentially be, 3 weeks in a row, 3 Rolex events or something. But obviously the tour of a contract with Rolex to the brand, and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I'm sure I don't know about. But maybe Rolex will have a deal with them this year that instead of having 7 events, they only have to have 4, given the circumstances. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you're going to see Irish Open they're going to do everything they can to get that event on later in the
year. There's going to have to be a lot of joined up thinking between and the PGA Tour if we're going to get any majors in this year to try and slot it all together. So
exactly. So they're talking about a Masters in September, October as well. Like so.
Yeah, I think, Chris, the problem with all that is that you end up with tournaments where all the good players, all the top world ranking players, get golf, but then the lads below it, your Challenge Tour players, your players like Cormac and Johnny who are knocking around the bottom of the rankings, what golf do they get?
It's going to be extremely difficult, isn't it? Well, there was talk of there going to be no Q School this year, and they're going to have a wraparound season because even from the Challenge Tour's perspective, a lot of sponsors are going to pull out, because even if there's tournaments in October and stuff, they're like, well, we don't have the money to sponsor it now, so they're going to have to lower the price fund. So we're thinking of having a wraparound season, it's the old American style or whatever, and just combining the 2 years in one. But the European Tour's sole income is from the Q School.
Okay.
They make $2 million a year from the Q School, and that, again, I'm only going by what people tell me. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah.
That is their main source of income, to pay all the staff, to pay everything. So, like, if they get rid of that, that is a big hit for them. So, I really don't know.
Thinking about the Ryder Cup as well is probably a bit of an earner for them. So they're going to have to think about that one as well. It's a nightmare all round.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if the European Tour get very much from an away Ryder Cup though.
All right, okay.
I'm sure they get something, but I think it's for the home one you own the ticket sales and all that stuff, but the away one you don't. I'm sure you still get something, obviously, but
well, there's just even the TV rights alone, Chris.
Exactly.
For the Ryder Cup, and for all those tournaments, what you're talking about is if you could somehow cobble a schedule together that has 4 majors, the Ryder Cup, and maybe 1 or 2 of the World Golf Championships in that period between, let's say, middle of August right through to November.
Yeah.
But you can play golf in the Middle East in November.
Yeah, of course.
Your
Yeah.
golf, what does the US tour do? They go to Hawaii or somewhere, presume.
Exactly. I mean, they'll US tour so much money. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But it's even like Sky pay the European tour a lot of money. No idea what the figure is, but like
Yeah.
can't see them coughing up whenever there's no tournaments on. No one's paying for Sky subscriptions or anything at the minute. So it's all on hold. So
That's
the
right.
whole thing is just up in the air.
As you kind of suggested, Chris, the sponsors will have other priorities.
Of course.
Golf is still seen as a luxury. It's seen as a luxury sponsorship. It's probably one of the first things to go. So, in terms of the high profile players, they'll be okay. But in terms of the ones rankings, they need to make a living as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the thing, that Cormac Sharp and Johnny Caldwell, perfect examples, really, Northern Irish players that are not superstars in the world scale, but certainly top players. So they're the ones that are going to take the hit. Sponsors are going to be backing out. Their personal sponsors, surely there'll be money cuts. There'll be all sorts of stuff, but it's just it's so up in the air right now. I mean, I wish someone had the answer, but unfortunately, no one does. So you just have to wait and see.
And like you're still doing a bit of caddying on tour. You're in the Challenge Tour, still caddying away. Like and I know the Challenge Tour season wouldn't really have started till April or May now, really.
Yeah, well,
we did a couple of events. But what about yourself? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Not very much, Paul. We had 3 events in South Africa there in February, so I'm caddying for a Scottish guy now, Craig Howie. So Craig got on quite well down there, and we 3 events and stuff. And I did the ladies' Q school as well in January, so I was out of the country for a little bit anyway, which was nice because it breaks the winter up as well. But just wait and see. I mean, there's going to be nothing until July, August now. Realistically, probably August, September. But I mean, you just get on with it. I don't have the answers. I wish I did.
I think nobody has the answers, and I think that's one of the problems, because it's how long is a piece of string. Like, can you imagine if you're looking at scheduling and you're looking at, trying, if you say that the 4 majors are key, do you press a schedule together to get the 4 majors in? Because I think at the minute the Open Championships in dire straits.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
And the thing that people forget, obviously, is that it's not just a tournament; it's infrastructure. We know how long it took to put Rockport Rush together. If you can't get people on the ground, you can't put the grandstands in. So, do you have an event, or do you just say, right, enough this year? We'll come back next year.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they did say with the US Open. Where was the US Open supposed to be this year?
Winged foot. Where
was the USPGA supposed to be? I mean, anyway, they've the rumor has it that the USPGA, I think it's USPGA, it's going to be at TPC Sawgrass.
Okay.
They've kept the infrastructure up from the Players' Championship purely for that.
Makes sense.
That's at least a bit of fun anyway, yeah. So.
Yeah, so I mean, again, that's rumors and Twitter and not exactly good sources of information, but I mean, it seems to make sense anyway. Yeah.
And the same thing then, if that was the case then, are we looking at a similar type thing for the Ryder Cup? Could they move the Ryder Cup to something that already has infrastructure up?
Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, of course. Was that supposed to be end of September?
Yeah.
To me, that just seems unrealistic, even for picking a team and getting a team. And I mean, if they could they move that to Hawaii in January or something? It would just be amazing.
I think there's so many possibilities and so many ways that they'll need to think about this. There'll be no cut and dried way of doing it. I mean, they're talking about miking up players and caddies and not having any crowd for the Ryder Cup and still making it go ahead at some stage. I don't know. I think the Ryder Cup needs the crowd. It'll not be a Ryder Cup without it. It'll be the atmosphere will be dead as ours.
I mean, if they could have it in, somewhere in the South States in America in February time, and then that would give them time to get a team together and have the best teams and make a big deal out of it. Because at the end of the day, the Ryder Cup's all about the build-up too. If the Masters is the week before and the WGC Bridgestone's the week before that, it's like, well, that's too much almost, even for golf lovers like us, because
I think the thing with the Ryder Cup is for, as Morris says, for it to feel like a Ryder Cup, you need fans, and you need to know that the team has come together and the players have earned the right on. And my big worry would be that, without any golf, you've had no rankings. The system, for getting players in the teams, it's not going to feel like the players have earned their right there. If you were to pick it on now, like, you'd have two teams that would be completely different from what you would want.
Oh, massively, massively. It just wouldn't seem right at all, would it? Yeah, I mean, that has to go. I
Well,
certainly hope.
what if 12 wild cards?
12 wild
Well,
cards.
that's a good question. However, it was put to Park Acton about wild cards and how we'd be using them, and he's actually got rid of one this year. He's in favour of the leading 12 players play their way on. He doesn't want really wild cards. He's done a bit of a deal for that.
Yeah, I saw that when he got rid of one. So it's down to 2 now, is it, or something?
Yeah,
but
2 and 3.
I mean,
yeah.
we were actually discussing that at one stage last year. Can't remember where we were, what the conversation was, but this came up, and it was like, oh, it's down to 2, and they're making a big deal out of this in the media, and it was like, well, 9 people qualify, and then there's 3 picks. Whoever's 10th always got a pick anyway.
Exactly.
So it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't
And
see that.
if the majors do go ahead, can you see sort of much of a downside to not having crowds on the course? Maybe Augusta's the exception, but would it be that different really, having no crowds there?
I couldn't imagine. I mean, it's hard to even imagine it, isn't it? But have they ever had like an open? The way an open goes to an 18-hole playoff on a Monday.
Used to.
Have they? Oh, it doesn't do that anymore, does it?
No.
Right. Okay.
4 holes. But I agree. I don't think you can't have a major. You can't have the open without the crowds. I believe you couldn't have the open without the crowds because it's got to be such a big event. Some of the other ones, maybe the PGA over in America, you could maybe get away with as a normal tour event, but without the crowds for the majors, it just wouldn't be the same. So
well,
I wouldn't.
If we're playing the Open in November in 40-mile-an-hour winds and rain, that'll be a nice test.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I hope it happens. I mean, this is the thing. Everyone, we're all, I guess it's in our blood in Northern Ireland. We all think our weather's going. We get a lot of really good weather in November time.
Really?
What rush? You're thinking what rush?
Yeah, I mean, you could easily have it. I mean, obviously it's bad luck. We get some bad weather in July, so like just off on, let's go, tee it up.
So, Chris, during this downtime, what have you been doing yourself golf wise? I know Morris J he's been itching this last week now. He's had to hit a few balls somewhere.
Well, I mean, I haven't actually been playing much golf, really, even when we could play. But it's funny this week that, whenever you can't do something because the courses are closed, you're sort of more inclined to do it. So I've had the club out in the living room swinging and getting told off by my girlfriend and this, that, and the other. But yeah, just hopefully this doesn't last that long. But I mean, it looks like it could be months. So.
Well, this kind of brings us into the state of play with courses and the GUI and the total ban. Not all of us are Colin Fairweather who have our own driving range we can go to. So give us a shout. I'll step away from you. But what do we think about the whole thing that absolutely no golf on any courses or clubhouse? Clubhouses obviously are closed, but they've gone as far to say no golf anywhere. Obviously there's the greater good here, but what are your thoughts on that?
Look, obviously if people, everything's social distancing and you have to do this, that, and the other, and you just do what you're told. Essentially, that's what I've been doing anyway. Just staying away from my mum and dad and granny and stuff because it's just not worth it. And luckily we can FaceTime and Skype and Zoom and all this good stuff. So look, I've just been thinking. Obviously, I know I would stay away from people, but people will abuse the rules. So if it's going to be one rule for certain things, they're just kind of making an overseeing thing. Okay, right, no golf. So, I mean, if we were playing golf tomorrow, us three, like I'm pretty sure we could get around without touching each other, without getting within 5 meters of each other, and still have a good time. But
Yeah, one down the middle, one on the right, one on the left.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Doing everything we can. Like, you could even take the holes out of the greens and just pin. And if you hit the pin, at the end of the day, it's non-competitive golf. It's fresh air. I'd love to be outside in it, but people will abuse it. So,
well, even before this full lockdown came up at Hollywood, they had these little white things in the hole where your ball just ricocheted off the white thing and didn't even go near the hole. You didn't take the ball out. You stayed well away from everybody. Nobody did any handshakes. Nobody was in the clubhouse. It was all closed off. There are a couple of courses down south that are still open. So they've kind of said, well, if the government tells us to close, absolutely we'll close. But until such times as we've put all these rules in place, and I think they're letting people go ahead and play. So
okay, I didn't know that.
I don't. It was Roganstown and Swords were the two that I was aware of. I'm still not sure if that's the case, that they had both decided to because it was only guidelines. It was at that stage, it may have changed because things seem to change every day. From my point of view, and I can understand the exercise part of it and the mental health part of it, and how important golf can be for people. From an organisational point of view, we all know that it's tough. Who takes a risk? Who says that you're going to be the one that has to be there on the golf course that day to keep things? Once you open the course, there's insurance and all sorts of things involved. So you have to have people about the place. And I suppose that's the biggest issue.
Yep.
It's not just that. If this goes on, clubs aren't going to survive. Chris, your own club in Myola, it's
there's going to be a massive impact. I mean, the thing is, like, obviously, whenever I was in America 5-6 years ago now, our home course was a US Open venue, Inverness, and they used to close in the winter for 4 or 5 months. And the weather was perfectly fine this time of year, and the course was still closed. So when it opened, it was in immaculate condition. And the members paid top dollar. Now top like 20 grand a year job. So yeah, obviously it's a different world over there, as we know. But I'm not trying to. Obviously, this is a bad situation, but we're hopefully going to get to play some golf eventually, even if it is July. The courses will be in great condition. So you just have to accept it, and hopefully golf courses will extend their membership. I know Myola typically starts in the 1st of February. That's the year to the end of January. So obviously the new year started now. We're looking at 2-3 months closed. Hopefully I'm being negative here, and it's much shorter than that. But they're going to have to extend their membership until April time next year, and then renew in May. So I mean, hopefully they'll get around it, and the courses, and everything doesn't go away, and courses closed and all that bad stuff. So we just have to wait.
How many clubs will actually be able to do that? Will be able to either freeze membership or extend memberships, or clubs have staff. They have greens still working away. They have bar staff to keep on maintenance.
Yep.
It's going to be a nightmare, and the longer this goes on, chances are people will just go, what? That's a bit of a luxury. I can't afford to pay that, or whatever. It's
exactly. It's going to be extremely difficult, but look, the courses are going to be great. And whenever I'm speaking to people in America or whatever, and they talk about our top courses and what the annual fees are, in around £1,000 for these really good golf courses, especially in around Belfast. Myola is obviously not quite that, but they're paying £1,000 a month. And the courses are closed for 2 or 3 months a year minimum. So hopefully people do see the greater good behind it, but it's definitely going to struggle. There's going to be downsides, but I'm looking forward to some good greens in July, hopefully.
Speaking of the upside, just on the condition of the course, I just had a text from a friend who says, I'm just back off the course. 4 days of finding golf balls, 214 golf balls he's found, including a lifetime stock of Pro Vs. And he says the course is looking in amazing condition. So, whenever this all passes, there's obviously an upside for Robert there, because he's going to give me a lot of free.
Yeah, exactly.
I would worry. I think that, and obviously I would be a worrier anyway about things like this. But I look at most clubs, and most clubs, as Mar says, they basically run on their membership, and with their membership fees come in, and we had one of the worst winters in terms of rain for I don't know how long. Courses were closed, people weren't playing, and it's around this time of the year that the clubs start getting their fees in. to keep things ticking over. And now you're at the stage where people who hadn't paid their fees are sitting there saying, why will I bother?
Exactly.
It's clubs. I think, you know, clubs are really going to have to get creative, and I hope that the GUA and the ALG and these people really step in now and get that advice that clubs need, because they're going to need a lot of guidance after this.
They are. I mean, don't we all pay a fee? Is it like 30, 40 quid a year to the GUI or something?
It's not even as much. It's not even as much as that's about 25.
All right, okay. So I'd imagine they're going to have to, well, half that or something. But then the GEI and ILGU are down money, aren't they? So it's, I mean, again, like I said earlier, I wish I had the answers, but it's all, who knows?
Do you think that when we come out of this, that people will actually have, because it was away and they couldn't get doing it, will it have, you know, got people really interested to go, or will it be that thing where, you know what, as Morris says, I've kind of moved on, I've got something else?
Yeah, well, it could go both ways. I've went since I stopped playing, you know, professionally or whatever, you know, what, 18 months ago now, I've went, even last summer, I went periods of a month, 6 weeks without playing golf and never thought anything of it. And here we are in March, courses are still wet and mucky, and the courses have been closed a week, and I literally can't wait to play. So it's just, and I guarantee you, if there was no coronavirus, I would be nowhere near the golf course. It's just because I know I can't do it. I want to do it. So.
That's funny, that, isn't it? Human nature.
Morris, what about you? What way do you think it'll work out? Do you think people will be mad keen to play, or do you think once the notion goes off, then that's it?
No, I think I think pretty much most people who are members of clubs in some way are pretty hardcore. I think probably most people will ride it out and want to get back to it, obviously, as soon as we can. But I think most people will probably keep their memberships going, or at least return to the game, you know, after it all. I'm not sure if everyone's going to, you know, not cancel their DDs, and that's the big thing, you know, how do the clubs survive? With the clubhouse closed as well, it's a nightmare. I think most people will return to the game. I'm not sure if everyone's going to sort of keep their subscriptions up, which is the big worry for golf clubs, you know.
Yep. It'll take a hit. But there's been, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but there's a problem also with, it seems to be more and more people are just paying green fees and playing golf, which again, I say it's a problem. It's not a problem because they're getting a better deal and they're playing 10, 15 times a year. They're getting their own needs, which is perfectly fine. But golf courses are losing out with that. And then you could make the argument, well, if good courses are charging, you know, say 20 quid, 25 quid when you play with a member, is that not driving people away from being a member in the first place? So maybe they're going to have to look at that structure, you know?
I heard something about another potential structure where you pay a GUI membership for every course in Ireland, and you become a member of basically as every course. Obviously, you have to go through a booking procedure as well, but they were trying to say that, you know, get more members into the game of golf, and then then you can charge an extra fee for non-members of the GUI or non-members of a golf society, and then you can put the fee up, and the people who want to play the courses, like the rich Americans, for example, will pay that extra premium, whereas members of actual golf clubs, because you're not really going to travel, you know, 100 miles, 150 miles every week to go and play your golf. You're still going to probably have your home course where you play all your competitions at. But for an added incentive, you can pay that membership and go and play, you know, wherever you want, Powers Court or wherever, you know, once or twice a year, or whatever you have the time to go, which I thought was actually a really good idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so you'd be a member of Golf Ireland as opposed to
exactly.
Right. Well, I live in, just to be devil's advocate here, I live in Newtonabbey, so obviously my home course is Moyola. You know, I would probably play a lot of golf in round Belfast at the good courses, you know, Malone, Beaver, Royal Belfast, and obviously Galgorm Castle, because it's fantastic. So I wouldn't be going. So imagine you're a member of some of the, I don't want to say the, you know, worst golf courses, but I'm not going to say any names on the podcast, but the courses that just simply aren't. The courses, you know what I'm talking about, right? The courses are pretty average. So why would you not just play all your golf at Galgorm Castle, for example?
Well,
so
because your competitions can be set for your home course. So you're handy.
Right. You still have to play your competitions there, right? Okay.
Handicap. But, you know, and there's maybe a criteria where there's so many times a year you can go and play another course. Who knows? But, you know, the notion was...
Right,
you know,
okay. So you
And
got...
some of those clubs would have like a premium to play as well.
Right,
So like
okay.
it might be,
I see what you mean.
yeah,
I see what you mean.
yeah. That's not a bad idea, MJ. I don't know who came up with it, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too, but you just have to limit it, you know, that you get, say, one game a year at least,
Yeah.
say there's 10 courses, you get one go at one of those, and then, like, you know, Beaver Malone, you get 2 goes a year, and
Categories.
yeah, I think
you'd
we're
have
going
to do it.
to all the stops and really think outside the box to try and get the game back up to where it is now. Even though it's on decline, you know, they're going to have to do some big thinking, you know. So.
Yeah, can't see you pitching up at Robert Rush on a Saturday for a game like with that system. But...
Exactly. Before we go, we've had our 10-minute notification that they're going to cut us off shortly with this Zoom because we haven't paid the $15 a month to pay for it. So before we go, just in terms of keeping sane while we can't get onto a golf course, Chris, any ideas, any tips on what people can be doing? I saw a few dodgy videos of people breaking their ankles, setting up makeshift swing setups out in the garden. So,
everyone's outside, isn't it? Yes, set up a net. I've seen some blankets up against hedges for people that don't have nets. Some real creative ideas. I live in a 3rd floor apartment, so I don't have a garden. So wish I was allowed to like create a net in the living room or something, but unfortunately not.
Open the patio doors and knock a few down the road.
Yeah, I can't see me being allowed to do that, unfortunately.
I'm lucky enough. I have a garage and I have the net and the mat in the garage, so I can go and hit a few balls. But I've become a bit of a putting fiend over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the putters never out of my hand when I'm sitting wandering about the house. So let's put it this way: I'm deadly from 2 feet. Deadly from 2 feet.
Okay. I've seen your video, Paul. Yeah.
He's deadly from 2 feet. He's deadly from 6 feet. He's deadly from 10 feet.
Yeah. Everyone has their strengths.
Exactly. Well, we better wind it up. So, Chris, thank you so much for your time, Squire. Very much appreciated.
No problem. Enjoyed it as always.
We'll maybe catch you on another one in the future soon. So, and take it easy and fingers crossed things pick up soon. You know. So, Pablo, thank you. Paul, see you soon. And thank you for watching ZoomCast here on the NI Golf channel. We'll be back again maybe next week, maybe the week after. Fingers crossed.
Have a go.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.